Hello everyone, I'll be starting in a bit. Hello, welcome everyone. So this is a bit of an impromptu stream, but I wanted to kind of talk about quite a few things and use it as a chance to interact with the Firo community, gauge interests, and I want to hear people's feedback. So I'll probably wait for a bit for people to drop by. But my name is Ruben. I am the project steward of Firo. Firo is a privacy-centric cryptocurrency, and we've been around since 2016. And there's been some discussion as to kind of changing the Firo's economics or tokenomics. Hey, Crook Monster, how are you? Welcome, welcome. Nice to see you. And we just kind of want to, talk about some of the issues that everyone is raising, some concerns, and I also wanted to explain why we are having this vote, and gauge community sentiment on this. Firo tries to be as democratic as possible, and this has really serious, pretty serious kind of not consequences, but serious implications for Firo. So I hope that everyone, enjoys the stream. Feel happy to answer any questions relating to the poll or any sort of basics questions on Firo. Kind of impromptu, but I hope everyone enjoys it. All right, so let's take a look at the poll. Hope everyone can see this. So to kind of give some background, I opened up a thread in February, on the 17th of February, to kind of discuss, how should Firo's block reward be allocated, right? Firo follows, a similar kind of block reward schedule to Bitcoin, where it halves every 4 years. The difference is that instead of it 100% going to miners, there's a division between miners, master nodes, people who run specialized nodes, and also a 15% reward that goes to the development team to help do innovation, basically take care of the development side of the project. So this was kind of started in 2000 this year on February, on the 17th of February, and we actually got like a lot of responses, like over 360 responses. And anyone can sign up to the forum at forum.firo.org. And we then, after that, opened up a poll on, let's see, when was this? On the end of March, right? Where we started saying, okay, look, community, we want to allow people to vote. And just to kind of give you some idea of how it currently looks like, the current block reward is, as you can see here, the current one is 50% to miners, 35% to masternodes. There is no community fund, and there's a 15% reward to the development team, and that basically takes care of development, research, and all of that sort of stuff. Now, there's several rationales as to why we are considering a block reward division, and mainly because first of all, we want the community to be more engaged, right? If you take a look at how other communities are building, right? While the dev reward kind of aligns Firo's core team with the long-term interest of the project, what usually happens is that it tends to kind of build like an over-reliance on the core team. We've seen this in many projects. Any project that has kind of like a dev reward, the community looks to the core team to do that. And while that's okay for certain circumstances, at the end of the day, especially as a privacy coin, we want to be decentralized, and we want a growing community, right? Not just the core team calling the shots. Because at the end of the day, we are not a company, we are a decentralized project, and ideally we need to have community engagement to actually sort of run and build Firo, right? Because the core team will not be there forever. Kind of similar to how Satoshi kind of like left, just kind of disappeared, right? And that was ultimately probably what was necessary for Bitcoin to be more decentralized, right? There was no like cult figure that leads that stuff. So right now, as I mentioned, it's if you take a look, no change would be 50%, 35% to masternode, 0% and 15%. And from this previous poll, we gathered a lot of sentiment. People were sort of proposing different allocations, and we placed the ones that we saw all around here, right? This poll is actually open for a period of 1 month, and we are just about halfway into it. So it's a good time to vote if you haven't voted. There's been 121 voters and 302 total votes, right? So yeah, first of all, I mean, if you're just coming on the stream, people can just weigh in, type anything, and I'll respond. Happy to answer any questions that come in right here, especially when it's relating to this particular poll. So as you can see, we have lots and lots of options. You'll notice a few things. The first thing is that there's only one proposal that increases the dev reward. While obviously, a higher dev reward does help the situation a lot, there is a reason why, I've decided to thanks Master for sharing this on Twitter. So there's like several reasons why, the core team itself has been pushing not to increase the dev reward. First of all, when we are coming out with this tokenomics change, we kind of want to make sure that there's no accusation that we are doing this for our own benefit, that we're enriching ourselves and stuff like that. Even though we could really use the funds, I think that's not the end goal. The end goal is to actually build the community to support the core team, and that we are more like equal partners in dealing with this. At the end of the day, the core team kind of serves the the core team kind of serves the community, right? And that's how it should be. But right now, because the core team has a lot of say, and we want to kind of decentralize that. Another problem is that because we have a dev reward, and as I mentioned, we've seen it in Zcash, we've seen it there, everyone kind of relies on the core team for everything. And that's not really conducive for a community building, right? Because at the end of the day, technology is only one thing. I need to start building. Hey, modder, I need to start building my Firo bed and look into setting up a node possible. Yes, please. And if you have any questions, please, do shout out. Even if it's basic questions. Today we're kind of talking about this ongoing vote that's on the forum. I think it's probably the number one most hot topic right now, and I just want to kind of explain, what people have been saying, what we are saying, and the rationale behind it. So I just want to check, is the music, everything, and in good condition? Is the volume fine? My mic is fine. Hope everything is clear. Okay, so as I mentioned, there's hardly any. The dev team isn't asking for additional amount, right? You only notice that there's only one option with an increased dev fee. The rest are all keeping it the same, right? And we, again, don't want to be seen as asking for more. And we want to be decentralizing, less reliance on the core team, and to build a vibrant community to support the core team. And obviously, the end goal of this is that, to completely even remove, a core team fund and instead have it to be 100% community fund. Obviously, that can't happen straight away, right? Because there's a lot of technical things that need to be done. There needs to be expertise, there needs to be experience. So we want to kind of create this community fund to say, look, let's create this so that they start, having some power, having some money to kind of take Firo into the direction that they want, right? And this is like pretty cool stuff, right? So far, any questions, just feel free to interrupt and post in the chat. And again, always nice to see everyone here. Now, if you take a look, the current poll leading option, I don't know if the top two are tied. Maybe they are. Oh yeah, it's like exactly tied, right? And they are quite different, slightly different, I guess, right? Obviously, the first option that is currently winning is 15% to minus. That means it's a huge drop from 50% to 15%, and there's an increase of the master nodes from 35% to 60%. That's almost a doubling. Now we have created a new community fund of 10%, which is almost equal to the development fund, right? So this has been really popular, but this really puts a lot of pressure on the existing mining ecosystem, right? The existing miner ecosystem is probably like generating like 10,000, 12,000 US dollars a day. And if you drop the reward, this is going to be like quite a significant decrease. I'm a bit concerned, what will happen to the mining ecosystem. It will definitely continue, but it'll be kind of like decimated at a certain reason. And there are kind of several reasons why we are seeing this kind of like rejection of miners, right? And I guess there are some good reasoning for it, right? And the main kind of thrust of the argument of saying, look, why are we moving, putting less emphasis on miners, and kind of sort of give some context, Firo has been a very, very big proponent. It's actually supposedly one of our key pillars of Firo to promote proof of work mining, right? And it's not just any kind of proof of work, but commodity hardware mining. What is commodity hardware mining? Commodity hardware means hardware that you can get in a computer store, right? There's not like some specialized ASIC or FPGA that only a few people have access to. So anyone can go into a store and buy this and start mining Firo. Right? That was the intention of keeping it commodity mine, because that we feel is like more fair, right? If everyone's on the equal footing, that's the main thing. Raza Khan, 20, okay. All right, yeah. Do you mind to share about Firo mining, how to mine, what equipment to be used? Basically, you just need a relatively new graphics card. Whether it's AMD or NVIDIA, it doesn't matter. I have more experience with NVIDIA, but you just need a card with more than 4 gigabytes of RAM. So 6 gigabytes, 12 gigabytes, and whatnot. That's not your CPU RAM, but the video card RAM. That's all you kind of need to do, right? You set it up. There is actually a Firo mining guide here. And hello, Elvio. Welcome. There's a lot of engagement on the YouTube channel. So if you haven't subscribed, please like and subscribe to our channel. It really helps. If you're on Facebook or if you're on Twitch, please give us a follow. Please give us a like. Helps the algorithm find our video. Nice to see you. Yes, T-Rex miner has the Firo power algorithm for GPU mining. That is the miner that I use. So you can take a look at this particular post, and you just need to see how to mine Firo, and all the options are there, right? Hey Tony, was I in Gary Gensler's MIT class? No, I was not, but he's a cool guy. So yeah, I would recommend that if you're going to be mining for Firo, please, 2 miners has a lot of hash rate on there. It's about 80% of the hash rate. So I would recommend switching to a different pool, just to kind of decentralize. And both Minpon and Wooly Pooly have enough hash rate to solve blocks on a regular basis. So there's really no reason for everyone crowd on 2 miners. So please do support these other pools as well. Yeah. So I'll probably get back to the discussion, but this is kind of like how to mine, right? So while we have been very big proponents of commodity mining, I think this was something that was touched on in Voscoin video. Voscoin's a very popular mining YouTuber, probably one of the most famous ones. And he was actually mentioning that GPU mining is he has given up GPU mining. And while in theory it sounds like GPU mining sounds really good, right? Because gamers have GPUs and stuff like that. The community has switched, right? Last time mining was, yes, still about making money, but it was also about supporting the projects that they believed in. We aren't kind of seeing this anymore, right? We are seeing people basically, miners currently, for the vast majority of it, are mercenaries, right? They will mine whatever that is most profitable, and if that's not profitable, they will switch. And otherwise, they don't really do much in the ecosystem, right? And we in Firo are also seeing this, right? If you take a look at the people who are voting here, they are like a handful of miners, right? But most of them, even those that have weighed in here, because some of them are long-term Firo, they both mine and hold masternodes. But many of them are just like, I just mine Firo, I just sell them. I don't really know much about the project and stuff like that. So that kind of shows that, I guess, mining hasn't necessarily created a very big community, right? Secondly, we also notice that miners aren't also using our privacy technology. They aren't anonymizing. They're probably mining directly to exchange addresses. And basically, it means whatever Firo that comes emits out, they just take it and sell it on the market, right? There is most of it, I would say 80% of it, aren't actually contributing anything to the Firo community. They're not participating in any of the discussions. They aren't, they aren't decentralizing their hash rate. If you take a look at, let's see, Bay. Take a look at Firo where we are. And here we go. So if you take a look, you can see that everyone's just crowding on 2 miners, right? Which is like 50-60% of the hash rate. If you add it up together with their solo pool, it's 80%, right? And it's really like, it's obvious that they don't care about the decentralization. They're just going for the maximum, right? And although there are many other good pools to use as well, so they haven't been shifting. I have been really saying that, please miners, if you want to show that you care about Firo, please switch your hash rate away from 2 miners. There's nothing wrong with 2 miners per se. They are a great pool, right? But they are controlling too much of the hash rate, so it leads to a lot of centralization as well. Okay, so if you're a miner, please just mine on any other pool. It won't affect your profitability in the long run. Yeah, Binance gives you a good miners are selfish. ABNS production. Who said that? I was quite interested to see that. So a lot of them are mercenary, right? And if all they're doing is taking the coins and dumping them, they aren't participating in the community. Are they actually community members? Now, at the same time, I've been trying to be fair, right? So when I opened this poll, I did not say you have to be a Firo coin holder. As long as you're in some capacity involved in Firo, you take the time to vote. We aren't going to say like, oh yeah, you need to have at least 100 Firo to vote or 1,000 Firo to vote, right? Anyone can vote as long as you're part of the Firo community. And look, it's like miners aren't actually really weighing in. Vitalik Firo. I see. Okay, so yeah, and but that being said, right, PAL's proof of work still has some really nice benefits, right? The nice benefits of proof of work is that it can be pretty decentralized and it can be pretty resistant. It's kind of what makes Bitcoin great. And why is that the case, right? Because if you take a look at proof of stake or even like masternodes and stuff like that, what happens is that it is greatly, kind of like, it's a different form of centralization, right? A lot of them would place it with this like DigitalOcean, Amazon, Voucher, Linode, right? And if you take a look at who is hosting the nodes, right, you'll see that maybe 50-60% of them are with DigitalOcean, right? And if you move to proof of stake, this is going to be the same thing, right? People are going to pick all these VPS providers and whatnot and put it there. And that creates a different kind of centralization. What happens if DigitalOcean goes offline, right? What happens if all this infrastructure suddenly say, oh, you cannot host this type of things? And this is not unheard of, right? We've seen Facebook infrastructure go down, right? We've seen GitHub go down, and when it goes down, right, it's pretty bad for the security. How about the green effects? How about Firo care the environment? Okay, we'll talk about that later, right? So that's why we're saying that, look, miners, they haven't been great community members. Of course, there are obviously some exceptions, right? Like DJ Minds created a video about us. Voscoin has also covered us. There are people that actually care. To kind of paint them with a very broad brush is also wrong. But for the majority of miners, that what we are seeing is that most of them don't care, right? Especially if you compare them to masternode holders, who actually have been around for years and obviously want, they care about the project. Oh, they care about their bags, right? Yeah. So that's kind of the kind of thing. But again, to completely remove it also leads us to a different kind of centralization. One of the great things of having this kind of hybrid system. Okay. Vagana, welcome. Okay, he's posting, hi mate, I'm in the rural area running off a phone hotspot, so buffering a bit. How are you doing? I see a lot of governments are thinking of centralized blockchain currency. Do you think that will affect the decentralized currency? Yes, it will. I will touch that shortly. Yes, a lot. Firo is not the only coin facing centralization on network hash rate. I've actually linked this really interesting kind of thing. If you want to take a look, it's this medium.com at Taco Revenge, and they were talking about Decred. Decred also uses a hybrid proof of work, proof of stake type of system, and they are also seeing similar kind of like lack of community participation from the miners. As a result, they are voting to reduce mining quite a bit. So it's pretty interesting. I would definitely recommend this. They even talk about suppression of price, and every time it goes up, it goes down. This is very similar to Firo, the position that Firo is in, right? And if you take a look at Zcash, that is also quite similar until they announced that they were moving the proof of stake. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not completely convinced that 100% proof of stake is the way. It might be, right? But I feel that let's kind of try this rejig of the mechanism. So what I'm saying is that miners haven't been a great community contribution. Falcon, I'll get back to your question really soon. I just need to complete my train of thought here. So that miners haven't been great community members. Obviously, there are exceptions. But proof of work itself as a mechanism, as a backup consensus mechanism, it means that I don't have to have coins, yet I can still contribute and secure the network. And even if data centers go down, the chain can still continue moving. So it's kind of like, you're having several layers of protection. If you move to complete proof of stake or masternode type of stuff, that kind of dual layer protection goes down. And what is happening is that we're kind of almost completely relying on this infrastructure, this kind of like data center infrastructure, right? Which is kind of scary at the same time. Unlike with mining, right? Let's say even if the data centers ban all of that sort of stuff, as long as there are some people running their rigs mining at home, the chain will move, right? With proof of stake, that's not necessarily the case. So there are pros and cons. So what most of the options here have been talking about, sort of not removing proof of work completely, but sort of deprioritizing that, right? That means, look, you guys aren't great community members. The security that you provide is a secondary layer. Let's reduce it and give it to other portions to create this community fund, and they also strengthen the masternode network, right? Okay, like quickly talk about the Faganel's point. I hope you're still here. See a lot of governments are thinking of what he's talking about. Governments creating centralized blockchain currencies, and do you think it affects decentralized currency? I do think CBDCs or central bank digital currencies are definitely, if they were not decentralized currencies, they would not have been CBDCs, right? And CBDCs, while they are digital currencies, they are really different. They're almost like completely different in terms of philosophy, in terms of the technology and all of that stuff. It may have, taken some inspiration from blockchain, from Bitcoin and on stuff like that. Definitely, if there was no Bitcoin, there would have been no CBDC. But the philosophy is completely different, right? CBDCs are basically an extension of fiat, right? So like Bitcoin was kind of like supposed to be this alternative to fiat, right? Whereby central banks cannot, at a whim, print coins out of thin air and decide who that where this new supply goes in, right? Right now, we are all suffering from the effects of central banks, right? We have seen them printing so much. As a result, we have record levels of inflation, right? Yeah, it's like really, and has it really benefited the regular Joe, right? We have seen that the new money that has been created has been making the rich richer, right? There's been benefiting these large companies. They've been giving grants to these large companies. How about the regular Joe running a business or like employee somewhere. Yes, there's been some like cash gifts and whatnot, but it has not been enough to cover the rise in prices. So it's just, if you take a look at the like what COVID has done and what this money printing has done, it has made the rich richer, unfortunately. And CBDCs don't solve any of these problems. It's the exact same thing, right? And we are now seeing, especially with what's happening in Russia, there's also like kind of growing distrust in the US. There's growing distrust in governments as well, right? And they're like saying like, look, maybe we should go back to gold, right? Maybe we should take a look at cryptocurrencies, and we are starting to see this. So I don't think decentralized cryptocurrencies are going away, right? Oh yeah, inflation is hardest on the little guy. Cut grass for a living. I thought Razakan, you are like a rapper that helps launder money for Bitfinex. Of course, I joke. I know you're probably not the real Razakan, but yeah. But yeah, this is really a really big problem right now, and this is kind of why we are building decentralized currencies, right? We believe that there needs to be this alternate financial system that's not in the hand of a few central bankers, but at least it's by the community, or that becomes very hard to change. And this is kind of boils down to like with Firo, right? It's not something that I centrally decide, let's change the tokenomics. We are here to talk about how the block reward how the block reward should be done. So Crude Monster asks, do we need to let a PC online 24/7 to mine Firo? No, that's kind of another beauty of proof of work, right? Is that you only need to be online when you want to. Like, let's say you're sleeping and you want to mine. Yep, you can mine, no problem, right? With proof of stake or proof thing, your stuff has to be kind of online all the time, right? With mining, you can turn on, turn off. Other people will take up that slack. So it doesn't have to be online all the time. But let's say if you're hosting a masternode on your home network, that has to be on 24/7, which is not great. Yeah. Food and energy prices, right? I'm gonna have to start selling them. So Falconer, I hope that answers your question. So obviously, it's a war. It's a battle between decentralized currencies and centralized. Don't get confused with the name. CBDCs are just basically a different representation of fiat, and it's actually even more scary because CBDCs are controlled by the central bank, right? And what that means is that the privacy, right? Unless it is private, right? You're gonna have a lot of problems because that means governments can just look and see how money is moving throughout the country, and that is a very, 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 very big power. Like, let's say if I have a political opponent or like any sort of like dissident or whatnot, I see the money flows, I can cut them off the financial systems. So that is really scary, and this is kind of why stuff like Firo exists, right? We are not just decentralized, we are also private, right? That means like if you want to seize, it's really hard to say blacklist certain number of addresses and stuff like that, because unlike Ethereum, unlike all of this, you can't fully see the movements of the coins. Yeah. 1984 or William Big Brother Fat Coin. Yeah, 1984 is a great book. So yeah. Austin Hughes, Dobo. What is Dobo? Welcome. CBD is good, but THC is better. But I mean CBD is, yeah. CBD is cool. THC is better, but yeah, CBDC is down with CBDCs. We have already seen like how in China, negative stuff that is kind of like seen as negative, right? Like, let's say you criticize someone or whatnot, your social credit score can be affected. That also affects access to finance. With stuff with cash, that's a lot harder, right? So it's kind of like almost saying that the government has control over what you can spend on, who you can spend to, and just imagine if they want to impose interest rates, like negative interest rates or taxes and everything, that makes it a lot easier with CBDCs. And that is really, really scary, right? Yeah, it's one of the problems of tax and decentralization. Yeah. I mean, similarly, privacy, the war on privacy, cryptocurrencies is similar that regard. So that's why I kind of like saying that, we don't want to be in a position whereby if we're just pure proof of stake or pure master nodes, whoever holds the most coins has full control over the network. Not only, and there's something like, like governance, right? Like masternode governance, proof of stake governance. Most of it has been like masternode governance. If you run a masternode, you have a vote, because the idea is that if you have coins, you should have a say, right? And there's been many community members, even this like some people have been DMing me saying that I'm destroying the project because I'm allowing everyone to vote when it should be only people who hold the coins, right? But what I found is that you have to be careful. People who hold the coins don't necessarily have the best interest in heart. Obviously, I think there may be a balance, right? There may be like you have to have a wholesome Firo, but not at a level that is unaffordable. Yeah. If you're using fat coin and guns, it will lower your social and probably increase your money. Yeah, I mean, we always think that governments are there supposed to be like looking after us, but it's kind of like back to like feudalism, right, where they are ruling over us, right? So yeah, I mean, I hope this type of talks like help with this type of things. Oh, sorry. So yeah, let's go back to the proposal, right? And so the idea of why are we creating this community fund, right? The community fund is supposed to be like rather than just have the core team make all the decisions, the community should be able to make decisions, and that also allows the community to kind of have funding to build things for Firo, right? Because the core team can only do so much, right? But if you have, we aren't experts in everything. We cannot be experts in everything, right? So let's say someone has expertise in marketing, someone has expertise in PR, someone has expertise building a nice GUI or some tools for Firo. Yeah, the community, they can now do that and get funding from the community fund, right? Rather than just from the core team. So we think that this is a really big step in kind of decentralizing Firo's development, because you can have a very decentralized community, but if the development and everyone's relying on just a core team, that's also a very dangerous thing, right? Because let's say like I'm a public figure, right? If the government tells me like, Ruben, you need to stop doing this stuff or else we'll send you to jail, I don't know if I have the guts to say send me to jail, right? I'll probably like, okay, fine, I'm going to just keep quiet, live my life, hand off the reins to someone. I don't want to go to jail, right? And that is a form of, that is a risk, right? So similarly, core teams, unless we all go anonymous or something like that, right? There is a beauty in having this community team fund. I'm going to start money for you and let it stack up, please. Yeah, before this Firo block reward change goes in. Yeah. So, do I believe in DAOs? Well, I mean, this with the community fund will probably start looking like a bit like a DAO, right? But we have to figure out how do we want to do the DAO, right? Is it everyone with a coin that has a vote, which is kind of like saying whoever who is rich has more say, right? Or how or is there some sort of committee that's elected by the people, and then that is kind of like more similar to a government, right? Selling out continuously creates a constant outflow and downward pricing pressure. Yeah. That is the truth, right? We have some evidence that there's been some suppression going on. It's not from the core team. Look, there's no reason why the core team want to suppress price. We want the price as high as possible as well, so that we have more funding to continue our work and hire more people. please, it's not about believing in me. It's about believing in the project, right? But obviously, I cannot be the one running it forever. Not that I don't want to. I mean, I probably don't want to be running it forever, but it's more of like, it's good for the project not to be reliant on a single person. I mean, there are many people who don't agree with what I do. So yeah. I'm not skinny enough or weird enough to be Vitalik, and Vitalik's amazing. Yeah. So yeah, So right now we are seeing. So what I was thinking is that, look, we also don't want to kind of like drag this on, and I was thinking that if these two votes, if nothing changes and this vote goes as it is, rather than having yet another vote again, we'll probably go something in between, right? Like in between these two options. So that yes, the miners will be cut, maybe not to as a big extent there. We give a bit more to the masternodes, and there'll be a community fund. Yeah, hopefully. So I don't know what's everyone's feelings on that, because some people are like saying let's have another poll, but I don't know. Some people are very against it. Some people are saying that it's fair. Obviously, having more polls are fair, right? But people like they also get fatigued, right? But yeah, I was thinking of maybe like we've already like gained a lot of feedback, and cutting something in between the top two options may be a good chance. Yeah. Hello, best YouTube. Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for dropping by. We're talking about Firo's block reward division, about deprioritizing miners, getting a bit more to creating a community fund to decentralize stuff like that. So yeah, this is an ongoing topic, and I really kind of want to yeah. Can you share more about Firo Foxes latest? Will it be sold on the Binance market like Moon is, or how do you plan loyal users with Foxes? Raising value for nodes and cutting a bit from mining. Yeah, cool. Are you a miner or what are you? Oh yeah, sure. Let me share a bit more about Firo Foxes. Let me see how I can share that. Give me a moment. So first of all, there is this ongoing kind of NFT project that I'm trying to do, that I'm funding from my own money, and it's not meant to be. You mine. Okay, interesting. Aren't you upset that we are cutting miners? But yeah, let's see. Make sure I'm sharing the right photo. Let me share another. Let's see how this is. Give me a moment. Right. Hey, Crew Monster, you asked this question several times. Yes, you can build coins on Firo's ecosystem when Elysium is out. But it's not out, it's on testnet right now. Yes. Cool. Okay, so what is this kind of Firo Foxes type of proposal, right? And the idea is that we first of all look, Firo is not an NFT platform or NFT project, and it also doesn't make sense to be chasing every single hype, right? Like, everyone's like, why doesn't Firo get into the metaverse? Because that's not what we do, right? We shouldn't be like switching things on the whim. And honestly, a lot of metaverse is like pure hype, right? Like if you take a look at even the projects that are the $1 billion market cap, they only have like maybe 1,000 users or something that's actually using the metaverse, and it's almost like a game 10 years ago, right? It hasn't really reached there, and it will probably take a very long time to get there. I mean, let's face it, Facebook and their whole rebrand to Meta was probably to distance themselves from their own privacy scandals that they have committed, right? Yeah. NFTs, yeah, I mean, definitely there's a hype to NFTs. Obviously, but I do believe on one thing, right? People like to collect stuff, people like to show stuff, and people like to feel like they're part of a community, and NFTs do that, right? I'm not saying that Firo Foxes is gonna be like Bay apps. Who knows? Maybe it might be, right? The idea is that we want to have a fun way to reward our community, and also help to also like support the Firo Development Fund. And I thought like having something like Firo Foxes is a great way to kind of show reward our community members, right? So the idea is to actually like look, like let's say you shield Firo a lot in intelligent ways, right? Not just like, oh, buy Firo, right? You write an article on Firo, or you contribute to the ecosystem, you contribute code to the ecosystem, or you do some research on the ecosystem. We want to recognize you, right? And how that would happen is that we'll give you an NFT, and that NFT would actually have certain traits that would reflect that you gave something to Firo. Like for example, you let's say you contributed the code, then there'll be this trait that shows that you contributed the code, and these traits can only be given. That means like you can't buy them off the market; they are earned, right? And we want people to be proud to show that I have contributed to Firo. I am part of this project. I have done something good, and therefore I have this NFT that I can show off and stuff like that. And let's say you wrote some documentation for Firo. This can be anything, right? You don't have to be technically inclined. If you have helped something to Firo, we will give you an NFT that reflects that, and these NFTs can only be earned. And you can put it on your profile picture. I think they're super cute. These are obviously still concept sketches, but the idea is like, look, we're not trying to make huge amounts of money. Of course it does if it is great, but the primary idea here is to reward users and make people feel that their efforts are appreciated in the space, right? So we are thinking of like probably releasing it on BSC, primarily because we have the wrapped version of Firo on BSC, and fees are cheap. Obviously, if some people want it on Ethereum, that's also okay. But Binance NFT Marketplace, we probably can get it on there, right? But yeah, I got family from NFT community. Yeah. So this is kind of the idea. We haven't decided what platform to deploy on. I mean, to me, it's either Ethereum or BSC, right? The benefit of BSC is that we can say like you need to buy Firo to buy these other foxes. Reward system earn NFT from Firo. Yes. Yeah, but please, this is not like a super serious project. This is just something fun, right? It's not like Firo's pivoting the NFTs. No, this is something that I'm doing myself personally to kind of have fun, right? I think one of the things that crypto has kind of lost over the years is that Firo should be about making friends, about making community, about having fun. And NFTs, say what you want, they're much more fun than, let's say, privacy tag. Right? Privacy tags has been like kind of doom or gloom, against the government, or we have to protect ourselves, and kind of like painting this dystopian future of CBDCs and governments like that. NFTs are a lot more accessible. People like them. It looks cute, and that's kind of yeah. Yeah, so I would appreciate everyone's opinions on this. Does everyone like this? I'm still deciding which one to go with. I mean, the artist obviously has some preferences. I know Crook Monster likes this one, but I don't know. It looks kind of scary. I kind of like the cute ones. I feel like cuteness has more accessibility to a wider audience. I actually like this one. I'm just a bit worried on the trade. I think most people can get GPUs on Wheel Adventure. It's the ASIC manufacturers that are selling out the $1 billion. Yeah. And it's also another form of centralization, right? So yeah. Let me know what you think. Let's see. Things to consider before voting. So yeah, if you want to participate, in the vote, please just drop by our forum, register yourselves and stuff like that. Being against the government should actually be a life goal. I think that there is a balance to be cut, right? Like, governments aren't aren't all bad. There are some good things about them. You know, I don't know whether I want to live in a anarchy, right? Like there's no government, everyone self governs themselves. So that's also scary. And what will happen is actually, yeah, rich people will also dominate it. Yeah. You gotta have fun in life on it. 100% Firo Fox. Nice. Yeah. 50% code, 50% love for now. Yeah. I mean, we are still very hard at work at like the really, really tough stuff, right? Like Lolanta Spark cryptography, or like, you know, we have this Aura voting system as well. These are all like really technical stuff, but please, you know, like, let me just show you like the Lolanta Spark e-print. Okay. Like, you know, this is really tough work, right? And is what occupies a lot of our time, right? But please, you know, how many people can actually contribute or grok this? I myself do not grok this, right? I rely on mathematicians and cryptographers to get behind this. This versus this, right? I mean, obviously both are important, but the community can't really get behind this. They can be like, oh wow, cool tech, we want to use it. That's about it, right? But with this, you know, people, it's so much more accessible, and that's the power of NFTs, and that's kind of why, that's kind of like the problem with privacy tech, right? It's not fun. It's very technical. It's all about fuck the government, screw this, and all of that. I'm a small. Oh, hi Nadu, welcome. I'm a small miner. Love the project. I don't have much hash rate, but not on 2 miners. I don't know about so much of muscle, but I can understand your thought. Thank you for weighing in, right? I mean, like, this isn't gonna happen overnight, right? This will take a bit of time, right? It's just about setting the thing for the future, and it's still not too late to mine Firo right now. We have been pro GPU miners since 2016, and that's a really, really long time. And in the way distribution has happened with, we have had quite a fair distribution. Yeah, similar to local artists now. Yeah, that's right. Why Fox? Okay, first of all, you know, because I'm the one paying for it, so not from the core fund and everything, so I get to say what animal I want. I actually originally wanted something like Firo felines or like privacy pussies or something like that, but you know, we were talking with a few people and they were like, you know, cats may be a bit overdone, right? We want something that kind of stands out, and I don't know. I haven't seen much foxes. Foxes are kind of like the right amount of slightly different. Starts with F. They're still cute and they're crafty and smart, and they like hiding in holes. So, you know, privacy and all of that. So, like Firo Fox versus Firo felines. I don't know. I originally wanted cats, but somehow we kind of switched to foxes and yeah, that's kind of thing. Starts with F. They're cute, they're smart, and yet they're not too common, and kind of like differentiating. So yeah, I mean, those are like the main reasons of why we're going down this path. Now, I also want to talk a little bit about what can this community fund be used for, right? Like, this is quite a decent chunk of money, right? Let's say you get about 10,000 coins a thing, and let's say it's of like 50,000 US dollars a month for the community to spend. That's quite a, you know, not a huge amount, but still quite a decent chunk of change. Than like not having anything, right? $50,000 a month can do many things. It can fund audits, right? Like, for example, we actually have a let's see, you know, we have an ongoing audit here, right? We're trying to get to 60,000 so far. You know, we've had community donations of 8,600. If we had 50,000 the community fund, the community can say, let's just complete this, bam, straight away, right? So that's a cool thing. That's one thing that can be done. It can be also done to provide liquidity incentives, right? So provide liquidity to Firo, put it on exchanges so people can buy and sell without much slippage. And that makes Firo much more valuable, right? Because it becomes a useful, like, why do people use Monero? Let's say even if Firo's tag is better, right? It's because Monero has liquidity. Why do people use Bitcoin or not Monero? Like, even Bitcoin, you know, even though it's not private, a lot of people still use it over Monero, even in like darknet markets. Why? Because it's super liquid, right? It's easy to move. And in a way, improving liquidity for Firo is really, really important for all use cases. So these, instead of taking, you know, this money and like giving it to miners who just sell it on the exchange, now this community fund can be used to fund this liquidity incentives. Hey Xavier, how are you? So you can see. Oh wait, did you redeem something? Oh yes, sorry. Yeah, because I'm looking at the multi-stream. Redeem stretch. I'm also streaming this on Twitch, which actually has redemption. So and a posture check. So yeah, cool. Okay, so thanks for the redemptions. So you can, as you can see, Hummingbot Miner also has, you know, this is provided by the core team, right? And it's providing quite a decent amount of liquidity on the books, right? That both on Gate and Binance, obviously, we're shifted based on our interests and stuff like that. And the idea is that, you know, instead of us funding this, the community can fund this type of stuff, right? And it becomes very, very powerful. Like these coins, instead of being sold on the market, they're used to support Firo's ecosystem. So I'm really, really kind of for the community fund. And look, let's say if it's misused, you know, some mistakes are made and stuff like that, they would have been sold anyway by the miners. So what's the difference, right? Like it, at least try to do something. So yeah. I love cats, but I don't really. Yeah, I mean, I'm a cat person as well. So yeah, I hope that explains some of it, right? There's also that, you know, distinction of how this community fund should be run. Should it be a matching fund whereby it matches donations? I probably think we're a bit early for that because like our community isn't strong enough to like, you know, fund something completely. Or you know, should it be some election of communities members? You know, there's some sort of interview, and yeah. People can participate in this Hummingbot campaign. So yeah, I don't actually have much to cover. We've been, you know, streaming for about 1 hour or so. But if you are new and stuff, you know, please do come and like our page, share this out, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Really appreciate it, and I'm open to any questions. For everyone, to anyone asking, you know, is there any questions generally about Firo that you have, not just about the community proposals and stuff like this. And I hope you like this kind of setup. It's like a like more Firo themed as well. Yeah. Let's see. There's some people saying, you know, they're more a fan of benevolent dictator. Fox are smart, but I vote for pigeons. Why? Privacy pigeons? Pigeons kind of poop everywhere. Is that what you want? So please, you know, forum.firo.org is the place that you can vote, right? We actually also have like Firo community meetings on Twitter Spaces on Friday at noon, roughly my time. So yeah, these are some really cool stuff. You know, Firo Dex is gaining some popularity. We're starting to see quite a lot of swaps on it. Pigeons. Let's see, Nomics Atomic Dex. Thank you, Elvio. Thank you for joining us. So you take a look. So obviously it's still kind of small, but you can see that, you know, Firo is kind of like doing quite well for this Atomic Dex exchange, right? Just now suddenly increased. Well, look at that. Quote dominance, fiat dominance. We have like, volume gainers. There's a decent amount of liquidity on if you want to convert between BTC and Firo and ZEC. So that's quite cool. Now, if you want to convert a couple of $100 or like $1,000 worth of Firo, Atomic DEX or Firo DEX is a great way to get. And you can see where all these different ways. You take a look, right? Yeah, Firo DEX. You come here. Yeah, we have pretty good exchange coverage. We are also actually, hey, good girl. Yeah, there's liquidity now. Yes, there is. Still not a whole lot. Everyone can still contribute. So one of the problems of why it's been tough to get liquidity on Firo DEX is because there hasn't been like a nice GUI, like a graphical interface to kind of do this, and people are like, oh, I have to do with command line and stuff like that. Gotta rewatch the stream. Yeah, no problem, and welcome. Are you good call or you good girl? Because I know there's another character, there's another community member called Good Call. Who is a girl? I wasn't sure whether it's the same person or just someone else. But yeah, there is some liquidity there, not huge amounts. Actually, someone dumped a lot of Firo and kind of wiped out the stuff. Oh no! Okay, there's this fake Firo posting on Facebook. Yeah, don't please ignore that. That's a spam thing. So yeah, also let me see if I can share my screen on trying to see if I can share my new Firo client. Do I have something? Let's hang on. Let me open my Firo client. Hang on. We have been working on getting more swap options without KYC. So this isn't like 100%. This is not decentralized, but it's a swap service. And swap service is there's no KYC, right? So that's great as well. I'm saving for my future master. I hope to be there by the end of summer. Yeah, should get on it, right? Because looks like if any of these things pass, there will be an increase. How do I share my screen? Firo DEX, Firo client. Let me see if I can add a new source. Give me a window capture, add source, falcon, ferret, fly. I can't share the screen for some reason. Ah, here we go. Let me move this down. Yeah, so this is the Firo client, which is like a nicer version of this. Obviously, I'm compromising my privacy by showing this, but yeah, you can take a look. Like, there's this coin swap thing, and previously we were using Switch Chain. Now there's going to be a few. I think there's going to be Exolix as well. So change now, Stealth X, and it's going to be quite easy, right? So let's say swap from Firo, right? Let's say I want to swap it to Bitcoin, right? And let's say I want to do 10 Firo, right? I put in my destination exchange, and bam, this is all ready to swap right within your wallet, right? All no KYC and stuff like that. And they should be quite competitive rates as well. we, for the purposes of I guess like not overloading users, we probably like limited it to a few of this. Probably should add some stable coins here like BUSD or something like that. But yeah, you see, you can say 100 Firo and you exchange, and that's great. Yeah, no KYC, no wizard swap is great. Yes, it can be accessed over Tor. Yeah, I don't know. Does wizard swap have an API? I know it's by the particle people, right? Let's see. Yeah, Firo. Do they have? It's only for like crypto to crypto, right? Let's see. Wizard swap is here. Oh, they do have an API. Interesting. Yeah, Firo is actually one of the supported ones too. Maybe we should. But look, there's not much liquidity, unfortunately. Maximum oh yeah. 15 Firo. Does it cost a lot of fee to exchange a stablecoin? Not really. Like if you take a look, like I don't know. Let's see what's the current price of Firo, right? So I think we are like 375, right? Okay, let's say so yeah, so there obviously there's some slippage, but let's say like here 368. So that means you lose about a couple of dollars there. But let's try change now. Select coin, swap from Firo. Let's see, maybe USDT. Okay, 100 Firo. So yeah, you get, including everything, you're losing like maybe like $10, which isn't too bad. So if you do more, oh, actually, it's the same amount of slippage. Swap to Firo. Not bad. Yeah, obviously there is a fee, and part of it also does actually fund the core team. So we do get like a small little percentage. So any swap, obviously, if you go to the exchange and do it yourself, it's going to be cheaper. But this sources from several different liquidity places, and it's right within the app. No KYC and all of that. It's a great way to kind of like get access to Firo or swap out and stuff like that. And it also helps the core team as well. So yeah, hope that helps. Right, so if there aren't any kind of questions, I'll probably end this stream here. Probably do a co-work stream. Just kind of want to share what we've been working on, talk about a bit about the ongoing vote, which is like really important, and we want as many people to weigh in as possible as well. Yeah. Okay, guys, so I will probably be ending now. Again, if you haven't done so, please follow, subscribe, etc. See you next time. I hope you guys have enjoyed this impromptu stream. You can definitely watch this later, and we'll be having more of this. Have a great